Welcome, I'm John Benjamin, and like you, or maybe what you think you have, I have a myeloproliferative neoplasm, or MPN. More specifically, I have Polycythemia Vera, and was diagnosed several years ago. I also have high blood pressure and diabetes. I've hit the lucky trifecta. Hey, if you're like me, you've been searching for answers, for information, and there is a ton of it out there. But who's got time to go look for it all? Well, fortunately, I do. And I've been collecting information that I'm going to share with you in a series of videos. Hopefully, you'll comment and add your suggestions on new research, new ideas, and more importantly, what's working for you that might work for somebody else. Hey, stay tuned for more. Hey there, today we're here to learn what this thing is called Polycythemia Vera, JAK2 positive, and all kinds of funky words. Oh my gosh, hematocrit, hemoglobin levels, hydroxyurea, what does all this mean? And more importantly, what does it mean to you? Especially if you've just been diagnosed. Hey, hit that subscribe button down there. Let's get going. Hey, this is John Benjamin, and if you found your way to this video, you probably have one of the three myeloproliferative neoplasms: Polycythemia Vera, or PV, essential thrombosis, ET, or myelofibrosis, MF. Polycythemia Vera is the most common of these three neoplasms. Yep. Out of 300,000 people that have this in the United States, about half, 148,000, have polycythemia vera. And myelofibrosis, only about 2,000. It's a little bit rarer than the others. So about half also have myelofibrosis. Anyway, you made your way here. You found out you have polycythemia vera, probably because you had an elevated blood count or hemoglobin count or red blood cell count. They're all very similar terms. Or you're told your hematocrit level was high. And now you're just like totally freaked out by all these numbers and what do they mean? I know I was. Heck, who wouldn't be? Because then the doctor pulls out that C word and says, well, it is a cancer. Okay, well, number one, if you follow treatment for polycythemia vera, you've got a very good chance of dying with the disease and not from the disease. Okay? Polycythemia vera is relatively new in that it was first diagnosed in 2005. So in the medical world, that's not a lot of time for research. The most common cause for polycythemia vera is a gene mutation, the JAK2. Most likely you had that test and it came back positive. Why that gene decides to turn on in some people who have that mutation and why it doesn't, well, they're still looking. You can't do much to turn it back off at this point in time. So you'll need to just live with it and understand what it means. Now, the symptoms for polycythemia vera are horribly varied from person to person and how it responds. So I'm going to share my story with you, and in the comments down below, I'm going to ask others of you to write in some of your comments. I'm also going to provide you links to a couple of different forums that I belong to because I appreciate the people that are on the forums and the fact that people are sharing what's going on in their lives, and there's some little tidbits that might help you as well. I can't possibly cover everything, but you know what? Together we can. Okay, some terms you need to know when you're dealing with polycythemia vera. Your blood count is very important. That's measured in one way and calculated in a second. Your hemoglobin count, HGB, is the count of your red blood cells. From that number, they multiply it by 3 to come up with what they call hematocrit. So hematocrit is a calculated number. Now, for men, and I am not sure exactly the number for women, but it's probably somewhere close, the magic number you want to stay under is 15 for hemoglobin and under 45 for hematocrit. 15 times 3 is 45. Now, my hematologist or oncologist, because he does both, we had a little discussion on the fact I want to stay under 15. There is research, and I'll see if I can't find that paper and post a link below for you, that staying below a hematocrit level of 45 reduces your chances of stroke, much more so than being above it. Now, because I have some other factors, high blood pressure, diabetes, trying to work through those as well, I felt it was prudent to do the best I could with my hematocrit level, or hemoglobin level, or red blood cell level. All three are the same thing, just stated differently. And the doctor agreed. When I first started and was first diagnosed with this a couple of years ago, my hemoglobin level was at 23. Yeah, I was super high. So I was started immediately on a drug called hydroxyurea, or if you're in Europe, they call it hydroxycarbonide. They're more or less the same thing. Hydroxyurea is more common in the United States. 500 milligrams is the starting dose and what most doctors call a baby dose. So, hey, if you're on 500 milligrams and you're on it once a day, hey, good for you. Some people are even better off than us because they're on it every couple of days. We'll talk later how hydroxyurea actually works in your body and what it does. Okay, another couple causes of polycythemia vera can be a problem with your spleen or with your kidneys. That's very rare. Most people, like 98% who have it, have the JAK2 mutation. The other way they may ask you to check to find out if you have it is through a bone marrow biopsy. They'll go in, they'll take a sample from your pelvis, and they'll see how scarred your bone marrow is, and they'll tell you have it. Personally, I just had the JAK2 test because it was a blood sample. They sent it off to Mayo Clinic. It came back positive. Once you got that positive indication, discussing with my doctor, there was no need for me to have a bone marrow biopsy. So I dodged that bullet, and there was nothing I was going to learn from having it either. There wasn't any new information to be gained. So if they're urging you to get one, you might want to ask them why it's important. I understand from people, some say it's painful, some say it's not. I never had it, so I don't know. Okay. What happened then is I would go in and have venesections, or phlebotomy as we call it here in the United States. In Europe, you'll see them use the word venesection. Basically, you become a blood donor, then they throw your blood away. So you're going to go to the blood donor center, some cases the oncology center, where they do infusions, and they will then drain you down a half a liter, 500 milliliters at a time, if you are over your magic number. My magic number for hemoglobin is 15. If I go in and I'm at 15.1, they're going to drain me down. Now, when I first was diagnosed with this, I was at 23. And it would take 12 to 13 minutes for that to drain out to get a half a liter. I went in almost every 3 days for 2 weeks. After about 2 months, I'll go back and look at the numbers. I was down to going in once a week and having it checked, and then twice a week, and then 3 times a week. And by then, the hydroxyurea was working the way it should. I got rid of all that excess red blood cells I had floating around through my body, and I started hitting the normal level. So today, I get checked every 8 weeks for my level. Now, I had a scare a couple of months ago. I had a regular blood test. I was at 15.3. The doctor said, yeah, let's go ahead, have you go get a venesection, a phlebotomy. Went in, did it. Went back 6 weeks later figuring, okay, I've been going like 12 or 18 weeks. I'm going to be under. No, I wasn't. I was at 15.5. It's like, wow, that's kind of strange. So, got drained down again, went home. Now, one thing you need to realize is there is no simple correlation between what your hemoglobin level is and what it is after your phlebotomy or venesection. And I can't tell you why, and I've asked, and you get a lot of blank stares from people as to why that is. What really freaked me out is I went back in 6 weeks later and my hemoglobin level was at 17.3. Yeah, this disease is really weird and really wild, and it does all kinds of crazy things. So they drained me. I was totally freaked, called the doctor, talked to the nurse, said, hey, I want to go back in 3 days and get my level checked. And after some hemming and hawing, they agreed and said, yeah, let's do it. Go ahead. So I went back in and got it checked. And you know what? I was at 13. So that's kind of weird. But if you've got PV, get used to it being weird because those things happen. Staying hydrated is a good way to keep it where it belongs, but it's not the only thing. Your body, like I said, will do some strange things to you. There's a number of other symptoms, like right now here in the springtime, I've turned off the extra little heater we keep in our bathroom. I take a shower, get dried off, and then I itch horribly for 10 minutes. During the winter, when our bathroom's nice and warm and cozy, get out of that shower all warm and get dried off and it's warm in there, I have no itching. But during the summer, yeah, it hits me almost every single time. Now, we'll talk about itching later because there are some interesting things I've learned about the itching and what that can mean for you. Okay, we've covered a lot of stuff here in this. What I want you to remember is, do not be afraid of having Polycythemia Vera. It's very controllable. There's a lot of new research going on that will help you. Your symptoms are going to be all over the place, so expect some weirdness with it. Fatigue. When I first was diagnosed, my fatigue was worse because of that high blood cell count. Now, my fatigue's not so bad. I get it occasionally, and there are some days. I'll share with you, I had brain fog. I figured out the right vitamins for me. I don't know if they're going to work for you, but they work for me. I'll share with you what those are that have helped me with my brain fog because it just seemed like I could not think or concentrate. Again, I'm not a doctor. I'm just like you. I got it, and I'm interested and curious to know what I can do to make my life better in spite of this. Because I've got it. It doesn't have me. So do me a favor, subscribe down below so I know who's there. Drop a comment as well about what your issue is, your concerns are, and we'll deal with those one at a time. Hey, I know you can handle this, and you've got this. I'll see you later. I'm John Benjamin.